It's time for local stories from across the East. Local food. Local fashion. Local businesses. This is your home for local. This is the East's Daily Download on Eastern North Carolina CW.
Have you guys seen Mark? Has anybody seen Mark? Oh, I got something I really want to tell him. Well, hello and welcome to the show today. I am your host for now. Mark will be here later. I was looking for him, but for now, let me just go ahead and tell you guys how you can find us on social media and online. We are at WNCT.com under the Download tab, where you can watch this or any other episode. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All the usual suspects there, and remember to use the hashtag EastDailyDownload. You can also email us at download@WNCT.com. And remember to check us out on the WNCT mobile app so you can watch our show on the go. Now let me tell you what we've got coming up for today. We'll tell you why ECU recently waived some application fees. We take a look at the new Will Smith movie, Gemini Man. We have a new Veterans Voices. Still no Mark? Seriously? Okay, well, I'll tell you guys since he's not here. We've got a couple of really fun guests coming on the show today, so you can look forward to that later. But for now, let's go out to Morris Barbecue for today's Down Eats.
Every weekend, along this curvy back road in Greene County, people line up for some of the best Eastern North Carolina barbecue around.
2 sandwiches with, 3 without, and then tea.
Welcome to Morris Barbecue.
And if you haven't been, you really are missing out on what we think is a treat.
But that treat only comes once a week. Morris Barbecue, only open on Saturdays. That fact brings in plenty of regulars week in and week out.
And some of those regulars are every Saturday.
Dwight Lancaster is one of them. He actually made his first trip to Morris back in the 1950s.
Hello.
Now he brings his granddaughter Emily every week.
For a long time, she didn't know what Saturday was as a day. It was barbecue day. It was Thursday, Friday, barbecue day.
Some regulars are like every 4th Saturday. We have people that come from Raleigh.
And beyond. Neil Gilbert is a return customer, all the way from Suffolk, Virginia.
If you don't come down, you'll never find out what you're missing. You really won't. The food is just excellent.
Willie Morris opened Morris Barbecue back in 1956. Now Willie's grandson William carries on the legacy.
Same recipe, same everything. We've changed absolutely nothing, and that's why our product is still consistent. Continuing the tradition that my grandfolks started.
While the customers enjoy the food on Saturdays, the process actually starts for the family on Friday nights.
Get the pigs out of the cooler. We'll clean the pigs. We'll put them on, set the grill. Usually takes about 30, 45 minutes.
William's son-in-law Ryan is part of the about 10 or so folks that make this place go.
Come back in for a little bit, come back out, and about 30 minutes later, check the temperature, and then we'll go to bed for about 3.5 hours.
And once the alarm goes off on Saturday, Ryan, his wife Ashley, and the rest of the family get right back to work.
Sometimes it is difficult a little bit, but but what else can you ask for? And the ones that are not exactly related to family, it's still a family.
And that family extends to every person who walks in the door.
I mean, they really like to talk to their customers. I mean, they're not trying to shove you out the door just the second you walk in. They're willing to sit down and talk to you.
We try to treat the customer like we would want to be treated when we go somewhere.
To me, it's so much more than just barbecue. You create friends here where I would never have known any of these people before. So it's really pretty awesome.
And it's that sense of community that keeps people coming back for more. Of course, serving up great food helps too.
It's the best barbecue they can get. And I've eaten at dozens and hundreds of places across the state.
Hundreds?
Hundreds. I travel in my job, so I sometimes eat barbecue 2 or 3 times a week, but I always come back here for Saturday barbecue.
But you better get here early on Saturday, because when they run out, you'll have to wait another week for these treats.
how to make cool crafts on a budget. Check out my weekly DIY series, Let's Craft, every Monday on WNCT.com.
Hey, welcome back to the East Daily Download here on Eastern North Carolina CW, or if you're watching online at WNCT.com or in the WNCT mobile app. Any way you're watching us, we appreciate it and hope your day is off to a great start. Boy, do we still have a lot to come today. Gemini Man's a new Will Smith movie. We're going to take you behind the scenes, take a look at that movie. Let's take...
Wait!
What?
Here's our first guest. This is Otis.
Hi, Otis. What's, okay. I thought it was a person you were talking about, but no, we don't do that.
Hold on, I gotta go get the other one.
The other, what?
We have another guest. He'll be
okay.
fine.
Okay.
Let
okay.
go.
Well, okay.
Here you go.
Hey, Otis. Let's take a look.
Retired Army Corporal Steve Lewis is living history.
I was in 12th grade when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor.
The 97-year-old Manatee County veteran vividly remembers the day that changed America forever.
It was on Sunday, and I didn't. So it says Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and we didn't have during that time we didn't have no TVs. We had a radio.
Although after Pearl Harbor, Lewis enrolled at Florida A&M College in Tallahassee, now FAMU, a country at war meant studies took a back seat.
Every man in college had to be in the enlisted reserve corps.
Eventually, he was assigned to the 9th Cavalry, one of two black cavalries known as the Buffalo Soldiers. The all-African-American groups started during the Civil War. Their service, though, lasted until 1948, when President Harry S. Truman integrated the military. And by the early 1950s, they were gone.
And we didn't know a thing about no Buffalo Soldiers in the Army.
Okay.
We never heard it.
Mr. Lewis may be the last living Buffalo Soldier around. He remembers his duties well.
Each man was assigned a horse, and you had to take the horse. When you're ready to go out, you ride the horse, bring him in, wash him down, clean him up, feed him, then you go eat.
Ralph Barnett is putting together a documentary about the Buffalo Soldiers.
In spite of the huge swath of American history that they cover and their importance in American history, the story has never really been told.
Mr. Lewis is going to be a big part of that film.
They don't give it the publicity it needs.
For Veterans Voices, I'm Rod Carter.
Eastern North Carolina CW wants you to win the Mel Robbins Show sweepstakes.
Win a trip to New York City, including airfare, hotel, and VIP tickets to the show.
Mel is changing lives, and she could change yours.
Go to WNCT.com right now to enter. What are online originals? Local stories, local documentaries, special features. Everything you need at your fingertips. WNCT.com online originals. The East Daily Download is all about you. It's about local stories featuring local businesses. If you or your business would like to be featured, contact the sales team at WNCT. And be sure to watch new episodes weekday mornings at 7 on Eastern North Carolina CW.
Beneath your feet, so don't move down. Copy.
There was some polite maneuvering up in space as astronauts Christina Cook and Jessica Meir made their way outside the International Space Station to replace a battery. Meir walked hand over hand. Cook hitched a ride on a robotic arm.
I think we're ready for the badge swap if you guys want to lead us through that.
For the first time in history, two female astronauts are spacewalking together.
Certainly women have walked in space before, 15 in fact, 14 of those NASA astronauts. But this is the first time it's been all women. and that's generated a lot of excitement.
What we're doing now shows all of the work that went in for the decades prior, all of the women that worked to get us where we are today.
The first all-female spacewalk was supposed to happen back in March with Cook and astronaut Anne McLean, but only one medium-sized torso spacesuit was available, so both women could not participate. Since then, NASA designed a more one-size-fits-all spacesuit. In 1984, Kathy Sullivan became the first American female astronaut to walk in space. She believes today's all-female spacewalk means a lot.
Do the math. It was 84 to 2019. That's a long time.
35 years later, this all-female team is replacing a battery that failed last week.
This box weighs about 230 pounds, so even though it doesn't weigh anything in space, it has all that mass. And so once you get something like that moving, it takes a certain amount of effort to stop it.
Harwood says while history-making, all-female spacewalks will one day be routine. Lisa Mateo, CBS News, New York.
Watch 9 on Your Side News anywhere, anytime with Live Stream 9.
Hey, welcome back to the East Daily Download. I was just looking over this book called The Wide Game. You can find it on Amazon. It's actually a friend of mine from college, Michael West, wrote the book. Has a series of like horror novels. Really good stuff if you're into, reading mystery thriller kind of stuff. Now, still to come today, we have a look behind the scenes of the exciting new movie Gemini Man starring Will Smith. And let's go ahead and take a look at that right now.
Wait!
What? Oh, hey.
This is Dickens.
Is this our second guest?
This is, yeah. Where's Otis?
You mean I wasn't supposed to put Otis down?
No, you weren't supposed to put him down. Hold on,
Well,
hold on. I gotta go find him.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Well, I guess I'm not doing a good job cat setting. Let's take a look at the Gemini Man, and we'll be right back. I cannot put this cat down.
Will Smith is Gemini Man, and in this high-octane action flick, he's taken on his toughest enemy yet, himself.
When I saw him, it was like I was seeing a ghost. Like every trigger I've ever pulled.
In Gemini Man, Will plays a hitman who faces off against his much younger clone who's been sent to kill him.
What is so special about Gemini Man is at the center of it, you have two characters played by one person across generations.
25 years ago, they made you from me. They chose me because there's never been anybody like me.
Will acted for both of the roles, but Junior was digitally created from his performances.
It's not me de-aged.
Okay.
It's a 100% digital character. They created that character totally in the computer. It's weird when you see yourself talking to yourself.
I couldn't have played Junior at 23 years old, but now I'm able to understand and capture both characters because of the amount of experience that I've had as an actor.
But if Will actually came face-to-face with his younger self, what would he talk about?
So young Will was wildly courageous.
Yeah.
Courageous to the level of foolishness, but I would want to ask my younger self about the source of that courage, because I've actually lost touch with that source.
I don't want to shoot you.
Mind if I shoot you?
For Entertainment Tonight, I'm Kevin Frazier.
Very few people know that there are lyrics to Entertainment Tonight. Hey, here we go.
So you've had a very bad day. There's Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, yes, all right.
Mel Robbins here, and I want to see you at a live taping of my brand new talk show. You could win a trip to New York City, including airfare, hotel, and VIP tickets to the show.
The Mel Robbins Show sweepstakes. Go to WNCT.com right now to enter.
When I just sit down and eat and be free to talk with my friends.
Haley Leroy doesn't hesitate when you ask her her favorite part about school lunch. She gets pizza for lunch when she can, and chocolate chip pancakes for breakfast. The fourth grader at Woodland Elementary in Elkhart says she has plenty of time to eat every day, but many kids don't. A 2019 Harvard study looked at more than 1,000 students. Most had lunch periods ranging from 20 to 30 minutes. But that's not how much time the kids actually had to sit and eat.
Because they didn't have enough time to eat, they were throwing away on average between 10 to 13% of their meal.
Cohen tells me that she went into the study expecting kids to just throw away their vegetables when they were pressed for time. But that's not what happened. She found that students who have less than 20 minutes to eat their lunch ate 13% less of their entrees, 12% less of their vegetables, and 10% less of their milk, compared with classmates who had a minimum of 25 minutes to eat lunch. And it can be even worse depending on when you get to the cafeteria.
And if you're at the end of the food line, it can be as little as 12 minutes to eat.
Murray is a pediatrician and former president of the American Academy of Pediatrics. He's been involved in school nutrition for most of his adult life. He says it's important to remember that school food has come a long way. School lunches started in the 1940s and breakfasts in the 1960s, but they weren't the balanced meals that are served today, as Edwardsburg's superintendent will tell you.
There was a lot of processed meat, a lot of frozen food, especially vegetable kind of stuff.
Then in 2010, Michelle Obama and Congress pushed through the biggest changes to school food in decades, making them healthier with the Healthy, Hunger-Free Americans Act. But even today, there's no federal standard for how long lunch periods should be. That's left up to school districts to decide. And here's what local lunch periods look like. Depending on the school and grade level, they range from 20 to 50 minutes. Cohen says the ideal time is 30 minutes, with 25 minutes seated. If kids get this, she says, it shows up in their academic results.
So things like impulse control, working memory, all the types of behaviors that you'd want in a classroom that enable students to learn.
Watch 9 on Your Side News anywhere, anytime with Live Stream 9.
High school seniors often feel pressure when it comes to planning their next academic step. Part of that process is applying to potential colleges and universities.
Well, the application itself isn't that bad, but I would say the fees kind of rack up because you have to do it for each individual school. I want to say the cheapest one I did was $30 and the most expensive one I did was $80.
But dozens of North Carolina schools are waiving application fees during College Application Week. The goal is to encourage as many high school seniors to apply to schools if they haven't already done so. ECU is one of the schools participating in the campaign. From October 21st through the 25th, students can apply for free through the College Foundation of North Carolina website.
We have heard over the last year from high school guidance counselors and parents of prospective students that sometimes the $75 application fee can be a barrier for students in even applying for college. So we hope that by waiving this fee, students that may not otherwise apply will certainly go ahead and do so.
And one ECU student shares his thoughts on the campaign.
I like that. I wish I was an incoming freshman. If I had that option, I would definitely look at more options to apply to different schools and places I might not have considered because of the cost of it.
Universities are encouraging high school students to also complete their application for federal student aid or FAFSA as soon as possible.
The earlier high school students complete it, the better their possibility for receiving federal financial aid funds.
To be able to provide a place for them to be able to come while they're going through those tragedies and take away some of those stresses that they have. When it comes to a hot meal, where they're going to lay their head at night.
If the Ronald McDonald House did not exist, families would be living in waiting rooms. I love the interaction that we have with our families. When they're here, they get to take all those burdens away. It's really an awesome part of my job.
It's fall and colder days and nights are just ahead, and that means your heating bill is likely to start rising. USA Today offers some energy-saving tips, ways to help shave dollars off your monthly heating costs. The first thing you want to do is make sure your furnace's filter is kept clean throughout the cold months. It's a simple task, but one that's often overlooked. And if the filter becomes clogged or plugged, it means the heating air can't travel as quickly or efficiently to rooms throughout your house. Another simple one, close the blinds to prevent heat from escaping, but make sure to have them them open to allow sunlight in to help heat the rooms when possible. And experts say close the vents in areas of your house that you're not using. Make sure not to overdo it though. If you shut off too many areas, your furnace can overheat. A new humidifier will also help you feel warmer and maybe even allow you to turn the thermostat down a bit. And speaking of thermostats, installing a programmable one lets you set preset times for when the furnace comes on and goes off. And that helps ensure a warm house when you need it most. For more heat-saving tips, check out the full article at usatoday.com.
Daily Download is all about you. It's about local stories featuring local businesses. If you or your business would like to be featured, contact the sales team at WNCT. And be sure to watch new episodes weekday mornings at 7 on Eastern North Carolina CW.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the East Daily Download. I am cat setting apparently for the rest of today. Hey!
Now we've got both guests on.
Okay.
This is the goal all along.
Why?
Well, it's National Bring Your Cat to Work Day, so they're here.
Oh, no. It's National Cat Day.
Same thing.
Not really, but it's a celebration of cats today. So if you have a cat, have a great day with your cat. And if you have a cat that is anxious to get out of your arms, let them play. And we'll see you tomorrow on the East Daily Download if I'm able to make it. She's going to jump. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Wednesday, when we hit the road for the next edition of the East Daily Download, we have a new Q&A with AQ. Jay and Silent Bob are back. We'll take a look. We talk with Lisa Cartwright, owner of Halloween Express. And WNCT-9 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jerry Jackson introduces us to this week's Weather Kid. So join us on Wednesday for an all-new The East Daily Download on Eastern North Carolina CW.